G'day, my name is Felix, and welcome to my little corner of the backrooms. Today we're checking out Dreambound. Mysterious deaths, dreams that are reality, and reality that is a dream. Will Noah be able to move forward and solve the mystery? Or will he give in to the demons of his past? A story-rich BL mystery visual novel. Let's get into it. Sections of Dreambound can be played as either entirely text or point and click with puzzles. Which would you like to play? Note, this cannot be changed. Okay. Dreambound was designed to be played with point and click puzzles, and the escape sections play out best in that format. However, if you don't enjoy puzzles or your computer is struggling, I suggest you switch to text only. We will do point and click. Let me just grab my glasses. 1 second. I really should have had these on to begin with, but okay, let's go. We'll do this one. Why are we in a church? It was 2:37 p.m. on a Friday. On this specific day, at this specific time, a funeral was being held. A funeral? Whose funeral? He was so young. How unfortunate. There would be many more Fridays, many more days where the clock would tick over to 2:37 p.m. Time would go on, whether one person was here or not. So much talent wasted. What did it mean to be alive? And what did it mean to be dead? His family must be devastated. What did it mean to exist? And when would the existential dread finally cease? A boy with brown hair sat in the corner alone. To him, that coffin looked too small. Much too small to hold a soul so large. Much too small to contain an entire existence with all of its history. Noah. Tomorrow, everyone else will go on living. Tomorrow, everyone else will forget. And if not tomorrow, then the next day. One day, everyone forgets. The brown-haired boy held tight to his chest. He would not forget. But even he could not convince himself of these words. How easy it was to spout platitudes while someone lay dead 10 feet away. I'm sorry. It was 2:37 p.m. on a Friday. And on this Friday, a funeral was being held for two. Is this doomed yaoi, dude? We just started! Prologue. The me that died all those years ago. He looks very tired. The bags under his eyes. Alone, confined within his prison, the man sits, his back slouched and his arm raised. In his hand, a paintbrush. A weapon in his eyes, perhaps. A tool. From it, life should flourish into every corner of a world part imaginary, part very much real. Waves crash onto the white shores. The night sky reflects back on itself, a sea of stars amidst the swirling currents. All is calm, yet not. But as it were, the world didn't exist, couldn't exist. It would never exist. It could not be created by this hand. The man holds his paintbrush up to the empty canvas, blank like many of the rest. Is it day or is it night? He does not know. Light doesn't belong in a place like this, after all. It has never belonged. He closes his eyes, waiting for it to appear. Something. Anything. A vision, a masterpiece, a muse, an apparition that would inspire his creativity. Anything at all. But nothing comes to him. Nothing comes without fail, without exception. Every stroke he laid against that impossibly bright white canvas was like a stain on his soul, a dirty mark on what should have been pristine. By his hand, all he could create was loneliness. Nothing belongs. Nothing would ever belong again, for he was broken. Time moves like this unfailingly, and eternity passes, or what feels like it, as the clock slowly ticks away. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Never ending. But what is time to someone with no time left to give? His hand shakes. He cannot force it to paint, yet he cannot set his hand down either. Art block? Is that what this is about? Is that what it's called? Art block? You can't create anything? Behind his closed eyes, he wards off the tiredness he can feel at the edge of his consciousness. Perhaps a dream would help him to paint. Perhaps if he simply allowed himself to be carried away in that star-filled ocean, inspiration would strike. Or perhaps it would take him away from this world and finally bring him peace. Yet he opened his eyes, denying the very thought. Anything but that. Anything but a dream. Was it fear? Hate? Disgust? No, it was more. Much more. This was no base emotion, this was something far more deep, far more sinister. The minds of men were warped beyond recognition. Their being had become wholly evil. During the day, they wore masks to hide their intentions, but during the night, inside their dreams, the mask would fall. What? I'm a bit confused, but okay. What was once pure and bright was now corrupt beyond repair. Noah, you need to stop this at once. You can't live off this. Whatever these scribbles are meant to be. Imagine what people would say. About me. About us. Why can't you be more like your brother? It's about time you grew up. You're not a kid anymore. Go throw all your stupid little books out already. Give up. Okay, so I'm guessing his parents did not approve of him doing art. No. This is all I have. All I have left. This is all his fault. Look what he's done to our son. Please, I need something. Just one thing. Let me have just one. A letter laid at rest on the table unopened. He lacked the courage to open it, too scared to read the words that would shape his life. His fingers, trembling, came ever closer until the feel of the textured envelope brushed against his fingertips. It felt like life. It felt like the future. It felt like the one thing that could pull him out of the deep pit he'd found himself in, slowly being buried alive. He opened the envelope in one foul swoop. Words spread out across the page, perfectly ordered. He suddenly felt as if he'd lost the ability to read. In that dim light, he tried anyway. Dear Noah, it is with great pleasure that I inform you that you have been selected to receive the Copper Cove University of Art Excellence Scholarship. Each year, only one student is chosen statewide to receive this scholarship through a process of portfolio presentations, interviews, and recommendations from prior instructors. The Copper Cove Academy of Art Excellence Scholarship provides full tuition for 4 years at our school. Please note that students with this scholarship must be enrolled full-time and maintain a 3.5 grade point average to continue to receive their scholarship. Once again, I congratulate you on your selection for this great honor. We look forward to seeing you on campus. In front of his eyes, the letter turned to dust, floating away on the wind into that imaginary world. Dude, how depressed are you? That should be like exciting news. Getting a scholarship? Memories of the past aimed towards him like daggers. They pierced his flesh, but that didn't matter anymore. He was used to it. In fact, he sometimes wondered if he enjoyed it now. The pain spread throughout his body, but at least he could finally feel something. Okay, so he is pretty depressed. That stage of depression where you're just numb. His paintbrush, still tinged with color, stayed motionless against the canvas. Resisting the urge to yawn, he rubbed at his eyes with his bare hand. A ringing sounded through the darkness, echoing through the soulless house. No one was around to pick it up. No one except... Go away! It kept ringing, and ringing, and ringing some more. Then it stopped. Until it began again. Go away! Noah clutched at his head, the ache only made worse by the constant sound that pierced his ears. He wanted to ignore it. More than anything, he didn't want to answer the phone. But the caller was stubborn, and Noah easily irritated. He stood from his stool, dropping the paintbrush to the ground. It clacked against the wooden floor, paint flying across the planks. Just more added to the already growing collection. At this point, more paint was splattered over his house than there was on any canvas. I don't know, dude, I can see some pretty full canvases behind you. You seem to be very good at painting. Slowly, each step deliberate, he walked towards his phone. The model was old, the same one he'd had since he was a teenager. He looked at the number on the illuminated screen, but he didn't recognize it. Still, the ringing continued. I should just turn this stupid fucking thing off. He stared at the screen, the light burning his eyes. And for some reason, he picked it up. Noah, is that you? What do you want? How did you get this number? It's me, your dad. Can we talk? I answered the phone, didn't I? What do you want? Please, it's been so long. What do you want? Your mother has just passed away. Please come to the funeral at least. Noah removed the phone from his ear and slid his finger along the screen. It went silent, the other person never to know what happened. There's a bit of a cold reaction, but I don't know his relationship with his parents, so I guess I can't really judge. Without a second thought, he switched the phone off and dropped it into the rubbish. So she's dead. His voice lacked any emotion. Whether this fact made him happy or sad, no one would be able to tell. He walked back to his easel. On it, a still blank canvas, waiting to be brought to life. He threw it to the ground in a heap with the rest of the abandoned masterpieces, before sending his foot crashing down towards them, breaking them in half. One after another, he smashed them into pieces soundlessly. Not a word or a cry escaped his lips. Only a silent fury. Okay. Not at his mother's passing, only aimed towards himself. Finished, but not feeling any more fulfilled, he dropped to the ground and curled into a ball. His eyelids felt heavier and heavier, until finally he found sleep. But even sleep wasn't so restful. Noah awoke to the sound of a key turning in a door, then the same door opening slowly. Footsteps started off slow before they sped up, coming directly towards him. But he didn't flinch or turn to look at who it was. If someone wants to kill me, let them. If they want to steal any of this shit, go for it. I don't care anymore. I don't care. So just let me die. Damn, Noah! Don't give up like that, dude. Come on. Noah? What are you doing on the ground? Are you okay? Noah should have realized who it was, yet somehow felt disappointed. Would have been better if it was someone here to kill me already. Go away. I'm resting. You have a perfectly good bedroom 1 room over. Come on. Let me help you to bed. I don't want to. Just leave already. Let me at least get you some water. Come on. Kane extended his hand to Noah, who stared back at it blankly. Kane was the same he'd always been. Kind, dependable, hardworking. Charismatic, funny, popular. Everything he wasn't. With a sigh, he took Kane's hand and let himself be guided toward a seat. He fished out a bottle of water from his bag, obviously brought in preparation for the visit. Must be nice, living the kind of life where you buy bottled water. Noah took a sip, feeling the coolness make his throat hurt just a little bit less. Must have been a while since I last drank anything. I didn't notice. Noah? I gave you that spare key for emergencies, you know. I'd say this counts as an emergency, wouldn't you? Noah, this has to stop. You need to get some help. Get outside, I don't know, just... Things need to change. You can't keep living like this. Noah angrily pulled away from Kane, a frown settling on his brow. No, nothing has to change. I'm fine the way I am. I didn't ask for your help, so stop butting into my life. You didn't need to. Look, this isn't like you. You didn't used to be like this, you know? He wouldn't want this for you either. You know that. Shut up! Don't bring him up. He was my best friend too. I'm allowed to talk about him. Who is this best friend? Is it the person that died at the beginning? I feel like we're being thrown into the middle of a story here. And I'm certain this isn't what he wants you to do. Silence spread out between them as both looked away from each other, searching for what to say. Between them was a gap that didn't used to be there once upon a time. How's your painting going? What does it look like to you? Noah shrugged, but continued when Kane stayed silent. I should just give up. There's no point anymore. I can't paint. Just wasting my time. Of course you can. I've seen you paint before. I know what you're capable of. Then why? Look around you. Why can't I do it anymore? It's too late. Everything feels dirty. There's nothing worth capturing left. I'm chasing a light that doesn't exist. But look, you have plenty of nice paintings around. Noah looked between them. They morphed in his mind, becoming too ugly to even glance at. They're nothing. Less than nothing. This is what the end feels like, I think. Wouldn't it be nice if the world just ended tomorrow? You know, maybe going out and experiencing some new things would help spark your passion. Meeting someone new, meeting new people would be good for you. There's no point. I'll die surrounded by my blank canvases, and then finally, I'll have my only masterpiece. Noah, dude, come on! Don't give up, dude. Let your friend help you. Noah. As if unsure what to say, Kane found the remote and turned on the old small TV. A news presenter, dressed impeccably, read out the news with so little emotion, you would wonder if she really cared about the words leaving her mouth. Next up, we have some breaking news from directly on the scene. A number of bodies have been found with strange flower-like markings first believed to be tattoos. Analysts say that no ink, pigment, or burn marks are featured on the victims, which has ground the investigations to a halt until they can find out what these markings mean. Further proof that art is found in death. Ugh. With a disgusted sound from deep in Kane's throat, he switched the TV off, as if deciding that silence would be better. I'll ask you one more time, okay? Please, let me help you. I don't want your help. I just want you to leave me alone and stop coming here. Dude, please! Please accept his help! We're friends, Noah. I'm not going anywhere. I don't want any friends. I don't deserve any. I don't want the only person left that matters to me to betray me too. Better if you just leave now. Dude, take it from someone who has felt like this before, it does get better. I know, that's like the worst thing to say. Everyone says it gets better. But the thing about rock bottom is that you can only go up from there. Like when you are at rock bottom, you can't go any further down. You can only go up. It takes a lot of work, but things do slowly but surely get better. Sure, you may have setbacks and end up feeling rock bottom again, but that doesn't mean that things won't get better again. It's always worth fighting to feel better, especially if you have people willing to help you. As hard as things will be, it's always better to be in this world with the people that love you. I'm not going anywhere, I promise. I told you to leave, not stay. As if on cue, Kane stood, producing another water bottle from his leather bag. He stepped closer and closer until he stood in front of a potted plant, the only bit of life left in the entire house. He watered it slowly, deep in thought. Make sure you look after this, alright? You can't stop by every day. I am. Good. Finished, Kane walked towards the door and opened it wide. Noah shielded his eyes from the sun. I just want you to go back to your old self, alright? I want to help you. It doesn't exist. He shut the door with a soft thud. Once again, he was alone. How I prefer to be. Noah stood from his stool and wobbled as the room spun around him. His head still ached and he could feel a deep hunger in the pit of his stomach. When was the last time I ate? Uneasy on his feet, he slowly found his way into the kitchen. Noah's kitchen was as bare as ever. He hadn't ever used it really. Most of the time he'd order something to be delivered. Or better yet, skip eating. His money was limited and he'd always put his paint supplies over anything else. Noah reached up to open a cupboard, knowing full well it was bare, when he smelled something. Food. His eyes found a container left on his table with a small note. He picked it up. It read, "Enjoy. I'll bring some groceries around soon. Kane." He wondered for a moment whether he should accept it or not, but eventually his stomach won out against his stubbornness, and he sat down at his dining table alone to eat. While he sat, he thought. He really hated it when he thought. How easily he could just come and go when I'm stuck in here, like a corpse in a coffin, buried alive. But what of it? I don't care anymore. That sunlight that I haven't seen for years, it suits him, not me. My friends, my family, all fake. Twisted, corrupted. Just like me, nothing is pure, nothing. Except. He brought his fork to his lips, slowly nibbling at the home-cooked food Kane had brought. Still a good cook. He really does have everything going for him these days. Suddenly, he froze, a terror crawling over him. His head throbbed and his stomach lurched. Then he fell. His fork dropped to the table, abandoned. What is happening? The world spun around him until it disappeared, spinning, filling his body with a dread oh so familiar. He squeezed his eyes shut, begging silently for this to stop. He didn't want to be here. He wanted to be home. But when he peeked out of his tightly shut eyes, his home was long gone. His surroundings were still blurred around him, and his body felt as if it were being ripped in all directions, as if at any moment it would be torn into shreds. But he wasn't, and he knew this feeling well. With a thump that didn't reflect how long he'd been falling, he hit the ground. When he opened his eyes again, he saw darkness all around him. Not a human darkness, but a darkness that was something more. Something sinister, something threatening. A place no one belonged. Noah quickly got to his feet and checked himself over. No injuries. His eyes darted around the bleak, dark landscape. Nothing stood out to him. No one awaited him. This isn't what it's usually like. What's going on? I would like to second that question. What is going on? I want to go home. Please, I just want to go home. But he knew full well what was required of him. Would you like to enlighten me of what is required of you, buddy? His footsteps were slow and careful, before speeding up in desperation, searching for the person who could free him from this nightmare. He walked and walked, then walked some more, until his feet ached with deep blisters. Yet he still walked, because the alternative wasn't something he wanted to face. Behind him, nothing. In front of him, nothing. If he was walking in circles, he wouldn't have known. His feet ground to a halt when he finally saw something. Or someone. A man, curled up into a ball, sitting in the distance. Darkness surrounded him, threatening to take over his very essence. The man looked up. His eyes were hollow, filled with sadness. Their eyes locked. My father? Your father? Why would I be brought here? How? His mind raced as he tried to come up with any reason, any excuse. The man called out to him, but his words were lost in the shadows, never to be heard. Noah, still frozen, couldn't decide whether he should approach him or run away. His heart yelled at him to run, to put as much distance between them as possible, but his mind saw his only ticket out of here. Before he could make a decision, a dark mist started to roll in from a place unseen. It spiraled and spiraled, twisting and turning until someone stepped out of it. Another person, surrounded by shadows. His steps were slow but not careful, deliberate perhaps, with purpose. He approached the curled-up man with his heavy steps. Suddenly, the man's voice traveled to Noah. Noah, I want to see my son. Please, give me my son back. The shadowy man raised his arm. In his hand, what looked like a gun. Bang. There was no hesitation, no pause, just a single shot through the head. My God. The curled-up man dropped to the ground, his body evaporating into the mist. The world shook around them. Mountains of shadows came crashing down. The whole world threatened to cease existence in a mere moment. Noah's eyes darted around, searching for a place to escape to, when he finally looked back toward the man with the gun. And as the world came crashing down around him, he swore that the shadowy figure was looking right back at him too. An empty, eternal darkness. Why is darkness always seen as cold anyway? If anything, Noah felt like he was surrounded by an intense heat. It was too much, too overwhelming. He thought that at any second he'd burst into flames, but nothing happened to him, even if he wished for it. Something soft wrapped around his shoulders, holding him tight. He should have been scared, but instead the pressure felt welcoming. When he opened his eyes again, he was sitting. Noah sat in front of his easel, his hand poised over the canvas. His hands were covered in a splattering of paint. It cracked over his skin, already dry. The darkness that surrounded him suddenly felt light after the place he'd escaped. Noah paused in surprise, his eyes glued to his canvas. On it, a painting of pure darkness, a reflection of a dream. How? How could this be? I wasn't here. At first, he wondered how. Then why? before his mind settled on an answer that didn't answer anything. It's perfect. At some point, the brush had dropped from his hand and landed on the floorboards, just another splatter amongst a sea of color. He couldn't look away. He wouldn't. Not when this was everything he'd been waiting for. This is it. Jumping to his feet, he lifted the painting from its place and carefully put it to the side. Who would have thought that which I detest would create my finest piece yet? And all it took was a single dream. We'll go a bit longer. He sat back on his stool and slumped forward, deep in thought. Oh my god. Are we in high school now? Flashback. My dad let me stay up all night playing. You've got to get it. As if my parents would let me skip out on studying to play games. You won the parent lottery. You can just say you're studying and stay over at my place then. Oh man, really? I'm down for that. Kane leant over Noah's desk, talking and laughing as he usually did. Noah sat lazily, kicking his feet against the legs of his desk, not worried about whether it would annoy anyone else in the room. It was an early morning, a few months into semester. Noah had settled into his routine by now, walking to school with Kane, chatting until the bell rang, and wasting the day away until he could go home. Of course, there was more to it than that, studying, tutoring, pressure from his parents, but all in all, nothing ever shook him up. Kinda sad seeing where his future goes from here, to be honest. He was comfortable, but bored. Hey, I heard something interesting. What now? Apparently, someone's moving into our class. What? At this time of the year? No way, they'd never catch up with the workload. No, for real, my dad said so, and your dad's on the board of directors. Yeah, you say it every time. Do you think it'll be a cute girl? Too cute for you, that's for sure. Ouch, my heart. It's fine, you're the only one I need. Kane fluttered his eyelashes, putting on a voice so clingy that Noah physically recoiled. Ew! Hopefully it's a guy so I can make a new best friend. I think something's wrong with mine. They're so cute and happy, dude. Why'd they have to end up so, angsty in the future? You can try. Who else would be able to put up with you? Step, step, step. The door opened as someone walked carefully to the front of the room and behind the desk. Their teacher, Mr. Floyd, stood in front of the classroom before clapping his hands. Alright, take your seats. I have some exciting news today. The class chatted endlessly as the students did as they were told. An excited buzz spread through the room. As some of you may have heard, we have a new student joining our class today. He's just moved here from interstate, so make sure to help him if he gets lost with anything. So boy, guess Kane was wrong about that one. Noah leant on his elbows against the desk, resting his head in his hands. For some reason, he didn't find himself all that interested. Anyway, I'll let him introduce himself. You can come in now. A pause. No one opened the door. For a few moments, anyway. Slowly, the door opened wide and someone stepped in. Noah sat up in his seat, his eyes locked on the boy that entered. Blonde hair and deep green eyes. He didn't hesitate any longer. He stepped in front of the class with the brightest smile Noah had ever seen. I feel like I know these intros by heart now. It's nice to meet you all. My name's August, and I've just moved here with my dad. Actually, we move around every couple of months, so I've been to around 7 schools already. A few students gasped in surprise, hanging on to every word he said. Rather than sounding like a well-rehearsed speech, his words flowed naturally and calmly without a single nerve to be heard. It certainly did seem like he was used to making such introductions. Still, I hope we'll be staying here for a while longer, at least enough to get to know you all. August is such a pretty name. I thought it would be a girl with a name like that. What does your dad do? He's a photographer, so he's always traveling and moving. I had the option of staying behind with my grandparents, but I decided to go with him. Whoa, so awesome. Wish I could travel that much. What else to say about me? I like sunsets and long walks on the beach. The room exploded in laughter. but Noah couldn't even manage a giggle. Something about the boy captivated him, caught his gaze and held it there. He was afraid if he moved even a muscle, the boy would disappear. And so he stared silently. Alright, enough of the dating app intro. Make sure you all make August welcome and show him around later, okay? Go take a seat, there's a spot free over there, next to Noah. Noah waved meekly, and August did the same in return before taking his seat. Whatever was said for the rest of the class, Noah didn't know. He twirled his pencil between his fingers, his workbook abandoned. His elbow rested against his desk and he snuck glances toward August's profile. Every now and then, he would shift, making Noah jump and look away. His profile is almost pretty. He continued staring at the boy. Well, not even almost, it is pretty. He is very pretty. With that thought in mind, August's eyes finally met Noah's. Noah froze, unsure if he should quickly look away and pretend he hadn't been staring, or if he should just smile and act natural. Eventually, August decided for him. He smiled brightly, tilting his head at the same time. Noah awkwardly smiled back before looking away, his heart racing. Only a few moments later, a folded piece of paper slid onto his desk. Noah looked at it in surprise, then back to August, who simply raised a finger to his lips in a shh motion. He put a nose on his smiley face. You're Noah, right? It's nice to meet you. I hope we can be friends. He wrote his return message carefully on the other side, unsure of what exactly to say. Yeah, nice to meet you too, August. Looks like we'll be stuck together this year. Why did I do it too? So lame. When Mr. Floyd turned his back, Noah quickly scrunched up the paper and tossed it toward August, who meticulously flattened out the screwed-up ball and read the message. Done reading, August popped his elbow up on the desk and rested his chin on his hand, copying Noah's posture, and smiled toward him. Noah's mind went blank, and the rest of the lesson passed in a blur until the bell for lunch suddenly rang. Only when Kane was standing over his desk waving a hand in front of his face did he snap out of it. Hello? Earth to Noah? You there? Right. Yeah. Is it time for a break already? Yeah. And Mr. Floyd called on you twice and you didn't say a word. Are you feeling alright? Yeah, I'm fine, just feeling a little out of it. What do you think of the new guy? What? Noah's cheeks felt hot at the sudden question. Why? I don't know. Just making conversation. He seems nice. Has a nice smile too. Right. Well, I guess we should go greet him too. Want to go over now? No! I'm sure he has a bunch of other people hanging around him right now. Wouldn't want to crowd him. The rest of the classroom was empty. Everyone else had already cleared out, either to eat or chat with friends. August had obviously been pulled along to have a tour with their other classmates. Yeah, seems like he'll be a little hard to get a hold of. Later then. Want to go get something to eat? I brought food, so I might just eat here. Whoa, you sharing? Don't be stupid. Your lunches are way better than mine. What can I say? I'm something of a chef de cuisine. Noah laughed in response, before pulling out his lunchbox. In it, a sandwich and a few other snacks. Compared to the luxurious meal Kane had cooked for himself, it was nothing. Actually, you can just give me some of yours. You know, I'm always happy to share with you. Kane gave Noah a warm smile. He might play around, but Noah knew that Kane would probably do anything for him. This is making me sad, because I know how their future ends up. But on that note, I think we will leave it here. I really didn't get very far in. I just don't like making these videos too long. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Take care of yourself, and as always, I will see you in the next one.